so sexy.
How are y'all? It's good. It's good. I can't say the same for myself. I'm going to read a poem. This is based on a very intimate conversation that a friend of mine had. She's not here anymore, but so I can do this. So it's just a very intimate conversation that changed the basis of our relationship. This poem is called "The Night Which Changed the Course We Walked On." We sat in that little Ford Focus with the stench of cigarette smoke lingering on our clothing from the bar before. It was a harsh stench, a vile prophecy of what was to come. I put that car into gear as we embarked on a journey that changed the very course we walked on. The weight of the night hung over us together, passing overhead as she spilled her life in an overwhelming confession of the fears she struggled with, of the past failed relationships that haunted her, of the failure of a father that beat her every night, of those cold Chicago days back home and those big city lights. She told me about this boy, this little boy who she adored, this little boy who she had loved and adored and gave her life to, this little boy that had taken her hand in some proverbial marriage. But this little boy was a little idea, a figment of her longing for identity and loyalty that she never had from her father, father figure. She said, "I'm a cheater and a liar and I don't deserve any better." She was a liar birthed from liars who believed the lie that she was told. Birds of a feather gathered together, and if that's true, she drew near to the worst of the flock. Those predatory birds lingered like raptors, eyeing her carrion. But can you blame the beast for being wild? Do you hate the man who watered into its trap? Do you hate the forest for being so dense? Maybe everything is to blame, or maybe nothing at all. But don't suppose that little boy acted alone. Because that little boy was a little man, and a little man becomes a great monster, and that great monster propagates into many. 24 to be exact. 24 little boys, 24 little men, 24 great monsters that found their way within. She said, "I keep a list of all the men I've ever been with, a list of the names of the boys I've ever kissed. I just couldn't forget the way they made me feel." She pulled out her phone and showed me that long entry, Igor, Matthew, Sam, among others. There were more than 24, I can assure you, but I couldn't count past 30, and would it really matter if I could? I sat with her, and I listened to her, and I watched her cry a little. Just a little, though. I don't think there was much left inside. Her opaque blue eyes shimmered with an odd mixture of shame and innocence as she told me the stories of her unbridled search for love, the odyssey that left her dashed on the Sirens' rocks. She said, "I drove to Cypress, Alabama to give myself away to a boy I met a few hours before. 6 hours I journeyed from the coast to his home where we hooked up. I drove home alone that night. I never told anyone. Little girl, you're precious and valuable and beautiful. He hooked you like a fish in his little sea, but there are many more where you came from, and he threw you back into the abyss from which you came. I love him," she said. "He's so perfect. I've never wanted to cheat on him. I've never flirted with other guys when I was with him. I know he's the one. Well, little girl, I just counted 24 ones that couldn't hold your love, or maybe never wanted to begin with. And he may be the one, but you're one of many little ones that will come and go, and when he comes, he's done with you." He just sat there, and she cried a little more. Just a little, though. I think that's all that was left inside. She said, "I see these men every day. They pass by me by the store and they control my life. I came to Alabama to get away from it all, to get a new start, but I messed up and I don't know what to do. I'm just so confused. I'll never find a good man. I'm too... Forget it. Tell me, do you know what it's like to hold someone's fears in your hands? I do. They're heavy and they're hard and they're very obtuse, cumbersome and misunderstood. They weigh heavy in my lap until I'm uncomfortable. I am Atlas who holds the world upon my back." Can I tell you something, Rachel? Can I get something off of my mind? You're beautiful, you're gorgeous, and you're worth more than this. I've spoken to the void as the God speaking to space. I saw life grow up inside her, and for a minute I believed that hope might flourish in her soul again. But just as the light of the first universe was spawned, so it began to die. And her cosmos have been dying ever since. Rachel, you were made from top-notch stock, exquisite and divine and altogether holy. You were made from my Father's flesh, from the Father's good pleasure. You were made in His image from my image, beauty twice removed. My race was sprung from dirt and mud, yours from flesh and bone. You are bigger than the little men. But you've lost all worth in the eyes of everyone you know, and even in your own eyes. You've lost it 24 times, to 24 little boys, to 24 little men, to a greater monster deep within. Thank you.